Chris Vince, leader of Harlow Labour, I have interviewed you in several parts of the town over the years. First time we're interviewing you in Gilden Park off Gilden Way. What has brought you here in recent weeks?
I think it's a realisation that, as an opposition, but as a political party and as councillors who want to represent the town and actually support the town as best we can, we need to be out campaigning across the year and across the town. And we recognise, and it's been a fair criticism of our election campaign that we have focused on some of the seats that we held at the last local elections, that we haven't actually done as much in this part of town as we may have wanted to. So actually it's about spending the off season, if you like, going out and talking to residents across the town and showing that whether you have Labour councillors, Labour representation or not, we're here to listen, we're here to take on your concerns. And actually going out campaigning and talking to residents in Gilden Park, it's clear there are lots of concerns that residents have. I'm standing in front of one at the moment, a huge hole, and there's lots of examples where the developers just haven't finished off the estate, and there's lots of examples of that you can see around this estate.
And one of the things that's come up in our editorial and different stories is people have moved here and they were sold the idea of a community.
Yeah.
Has that come up, of course, that they don't feel they've got a community
here?
Yeah,
absolutely, of course. There are promises about Harlow School being relocated and expanded. That hasn't happened and it's been pushed back further. We haven't seen, they were promised a shop. That hasn't happened yet. There are still plans to have a shop, apparently. I've been on to the council this week about this, but it feels like with developments of this size, the developers leave all these things till last, and actually some of these houses have been here for a long time now, and haven't got that community sense. So absolutely, I think the number one thing that people are saying to us on the door is there isn't a sense of community. People live here and they go off to work, but there isn't that sense of community. And I think, having lived in Harlow for a long time now and seen in my area, Little Parndon, Harlow's great for that. It's a wonderful community. And I think that unfortunately it seems in this estate that the community involves being in the same WhatsApp group, but there isn't that sense of community cohesion. So yeah, that's a real issue, I think.
So as leader of Labour in Harlow Labour, there are Labour councillors, there are Labour activists, and next year or soon there'll be a candidate for the general election, which will probably be in 2024. What can Labour do for the people of Gilden Park?
Well, it's a great question. There's two answers. There's the local level and the national level. I think from a local point of view, the local Conservatives were very critical of Labour and we administration. They've been in power for 2 years now and not a lot has changed. I think what we need to do as an opposition is continue to put pressure on the council, continue to have those conversations with council officers, which I have been doing, and I know that council officers have got a meeting with the developers at the start of next month, so I'll be following that up and chasing that. I think there's also things we need to talk about in terms of the national picture and national policies and how we can inform policies going forward. It seems to me that developers can too easily buy their way out of the Section 106 money. We've seen here that that it feels like the houses come first and that community aspect comes later. They can build, I think it's over 80% of the houses here, and that's a high number of houses before they have to worry about putting in the amenities and the services we've talked about. So I think that's something that needs to be addressed, and I think we need to give more power back to local councils. And I keep using the example of the flat block near me, which the council actually turned down and fined for the privilege. But I think we need to give power back to local communities so they can have a say over how their communities are built and how they and the services that they have. So I think there's two levels there, but certainly as a local Labour Party we continue to put pressure on developers to ensure that these things, like this whapping great big hole behind me, actually get sorted out.
And finally, so do you feel that across the town there are areas in which you did very well, say Mark Hall Ward, which was a 400 Tory majority in 2021, a 300 Labour majority in 2023, but there are others where do you feel you need to get into communities, say the Staple Tie area, which you keep losing, and you need to get in there and communicate and connect with people in wards like that, or indeed parts of Church Langley, which will become a different ward in next May. Do you need to get into those communities and tell people what you can do?
I think it's more than just we need to. We should be doing that. As local councillors, whichever part of Harlow we represent, and of course, our priority is always going to be our own ward, and rightly so. I've been out in Hare Street this morning, but it is about connecting with the whole town and listening to residents, because we are all a community, we are all Harlow, and we want to do what we can to support all of Harlow, even if you haven't got elected representatives. I'd like to say elected representatives yet, obviously, but Staple Tie is an area that we are concerned about. We are aware there are issues in Staple Tie. There are areas of deprivation. There are wonderful wonderful areas, as our councillor Jake said as well, in Stapletie, and things to celebrate in Stapletie. But there's a community there that, as local politicians, whether we represent those areas or not, we should be engaging with. And actually, it'd be wrong for us not to go around talking to residents in Gilden Park and listening to their concerns, because they are part of our town and we want to support them as well.